I got bigger dream, bigger dream. She with small town, I got bigger dream, bigger dream. Listen, she with small town, I got.
What's happening, man? You already know what it is. This is Twice Talk, and we are listener supported by 91.5 The Rebel, HD2, Las Vegas, the broadcast service of UNLV. And of course, we got the greatest co-host on the planet. We got Oak. How you feeling today?
She right on in. I feel good.
Right on in for the win. Okay. And I know you guys wondering who's right here, and we are graced by Chef Stacey, the sensational chef. How you doing today?
What's up? I'm great. How are you?
Oh, fantastic.
Good.
Appreciate you for coming down.
Thank you.
And like I said, it's amazing to have you here. So,
thank you.
You're not feeling too bad, or what's going on?
I'm feeling great.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So, we do know that you are a vegan, correct?
Yes.
So
vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
Yes.
What is the difference? Like,
okay,
with those
vegan.
two?
No, let me just clarify. So I was vegan for 15 years, and I became vegetarian right around the time, actually, when I had my son. And I just incorporated. I started eating some salmon back in my diet.
So it was just like a gradual
That's the thing.
process.
I felt, my body was craving it. So, but that was it. And every now and then I'll eat fish. But for the most part, I'm vegan. Okay, but I don't want, if someone sees me out and I'm eating a piece of fish, I don't want them to be like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? People will trip on you. So we got to be real transparent.
Sure.
Exactly.
But for the most part, I'm plant based, and I don't eat chicken and pork and beef and all of that stuff naturally.
Okay. So your bio says the vegan alchemist. You made me have to look up that word alchemy. And the second definition is the definition that really just, makes your gears grind.
Right.
So it goes, alchemy is a process of something feeling magical.
Exactly.
So what is magical about
my food?
About your lifestyle as far as your vegetarian and your vegan ways?
Gotcha. Okay, so it's a good question. First of all, have you all ever heard of the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho? Okay, so yes, that is like the best book. If for anyone who has not heard of that book, please go get it, order it now. It will change your life. It's a classic, really.
It is a classic.
The Alchemist is what it's called, by Paulo Coelho. I think I'm saying his name correctly. But yes, The Alchemist. So that's where I got that from. After reading that book, I was super inspired. And I wasn't, but I was vegan before I read that book. I read that book, some years ago. But I've been, like I said, vegan for like 17 years. So
Excellent.
So anyway, what makes it magical is that I love it. The energy that you put into it, the energy that you put into anything is gonna make it magical. But for me, the lifestyle is magical. So for me, the cooking part is magical just because I love what I do. And then there's just ways. People would say that it's magic just because there's no meat, there's no dairy, but it tastes like there's meat and dairy. Right, but it's so good. Exactly. It's so good. It's not tasteless, and so that's also what makes it magic. And then for me, the lifestyle is when you're just able to eat mostly plants or things that your body wants. When you actually listen to your body and give your body the things that it needs, then everything is magic. Like my life is amazing because like my skin's clear, I stay slim, I'm active all the time. I'll be 42 on my next birthday, and most
people
don't
get the itis.
I don't get the itis. Every now and then. Every now and then, it depends. Like we have this bomb lasagna at our restaurant, and
that is my
might get the itis.
Might get the itis with that one.
Might get the itis with that one. It's a big piece, so but besides that, it's a great lifestyle, and I don't have any health issues. None, and that's unknown. That's unheard of for, unfortunately, women my age. I don't think that I'm old, but I see some people that I went to high school with or college with, and
that have illnesses.
They got high blood pressure and cholesterol and all kinds. I'm like having stents put in their heart. I'm like at age 40. Like no,
that's very
critical.
Yeah,
and that's good that you're staying up on your health and
definitely.
So with the alchemy, you do a lot of studying as well, and I couldn't get away from asking this question.
Okay.
So, what meal, food, maybe veggie, would you say has the most healing properties?
Wow, you know what? That is. I don't even know if that question could be answered in the short amount of time. There's so many healing foods on the planet, and they just aren't.
The most underutilized, would you say?
Probably the most underutilized. Probably neem.
What is
or
neem?
moringa.
What is that?
But you don't get those here. That's what I'm saying.
You're not
you have to go to West Africa.
Form.
Well, I lived in Ghana for a couple of years, and so that's where I got those. But there's so many. Like I said, I could sit here and name a whole bunch of them that you never heard of. But if we're talking about things that you can grow and get in the United States,
easier,
right? Exactly, because we're talking worldwide here.
There are some worldwide people taking in, so
so we're talking about here.
Yeah, go ahead and
I would just do like mostly green stuff. Like green
stuff
is really going to give you the most nutrients. So any of your spinach, your broccoli, your kale, your chlorella, your any kind of superfood.
That was the answer we needed. She got real exotic. She's like,
you know what I'm saying?
I like that exotic.
Like, hold on, wait.
Right.
I mean, you asked. You said
now you got to tell. Now you got to tell the people because I'm curious too. You said neem.
Neem bark.
What's neem?
Neem actually, there's a tree called neem. There's a neem tree, and it grows. Well, I'm sure it grows in other places, but I lived in Ghana, and that's where I experienced it. And so I would get the leaves, and we would boil them, and it heals all kinds of sicknesses. And illnesses and things like that.
It's also a natural contraceptive.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
What I tell you about them words around here?
It prevents implantation, and it also makes sperm immobile.
Wow.
Yeah, so it prevents
pregnancy.
Now
I'm learning something. I didn't know that.
See.
I do my little research.
I see it.
I just wanted a different alternative to birth control.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that you actually took the time to do that. Most people don't. They'll just go ahead and take birth control.
They said it's 100% effective.
Really? Well, I didn't use it for that purpose when I was in Ghana. However, that's good to know. Seriously, when I go back,
that's awesome.
Man, we got major gems today.
Yeah.
But you know what? When I read Food Alchemist on your page, I'm like, you know what? She turns food into gold. Like that's what pays you. That's what's sustaining your lifestyle. So that's what I interpreted when I read that, and I thought that was slick.
That is exactly it. Yep. That's taking those ingredients that people would normally think are not good, like tofu, and making it into lasagna is, using the cheese and all that, making that is. It's a gift that I'm blessed. Like, it's not me. Like, it's all God. Like, I always tell people, it was just my journey through life that led me to even figure out how to make this stuff. Because I didn't go to school for this.
Yeah.
I'm self-taught. I was just like,
you were just in the kitchen.
I was in the kitchen. Well, I opened up, about 15, 16 years ago.
And this is your restaurant, correct?
I had a restaurant in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
About 15, 16 years ago. I was about 25, I guess 26 or something like that. And I opened up my first one. Yeah. And so I was becoming vegan.
For a while.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why when, people experience the Simply Pure that we have here at Container Park, they're like, oh, it's so good. How did you learn? I'm like, really? I just taught myself, but I've been teaching myself for almost 17 years how to cook. So it's not like, it was just trial and error, doing it when it wasn't popular, learning what. Now there's so many things out there that are so good, but back then, you had to figure out how to make good food from plants. You couldn't just use like the fake meat and the fake,
that we have now.
The cheeses that they have that aren't even that good on the market now. I make my own cheese because I had to figure out how to make it. Yeah.
I bet it's less processed.
Yeah, very much so. Because I have my own garlic. I have my own. It's not like I'm sitting here and
with the machine,
trying to, or we're opening up a package and throwing it on, it on the lasagna. We make our own from scratch. So everything at the restaurant, like most of the stuff, is super, super fresh. We don't get a lot of things out of the can and that kind of thing. Yeah.
So how is running your own business? Because you said you have your restaurant at Container Park, Simply Pure.
Simply Pure is the name, yep.
And so how is it over there?
It's great. Now, I mean, it's always been great. Let me just say, because even the lows are great. Because that's when you get your learn. That's where you learn. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from when things aren't so good. You learn what to tweak. So it's all been good. We've been open 4 years. We just made 4 years in December. And now, it's just become a brand, in the city. And that's so dope. I'm super proud of that. Yeah, and thankful. But it was a challenge, in the beginning.
For sure.
I got pregnant and I opened up the restaurant the same year, which was not the best choice.
But you got it done.
Got it done.
So,
speaking
of challenges, you So when you started your business, you know, you're at a different place right now. You say you're 4 years in. What would be a good problem that you're having these days?
A good problem that I'm having these days is that we are too small for the volume.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We work out of a 288 square foot space,
Oh.
which is super tiny. Like, it's smaller than this room that we're in right now.
And it just be in and out.
It's too much. Like,
when you say working out of that, is that the kitchen specifically, or is that the whole restaurant?
We actually had to go and get, it's both. The kitchen and the restaurant. Whoa. So, yeah, when you walk in, we have 5 tables, 10 chairs, and then behind that, the kitchen is like super small. Now, we do have a commercial prep kitchen that we've rented out, so we can do a lot of prep there and bring it in, like we make the lasagna in the prep kitchen. However, the only place people can come and actually get the food, unless we're doing catering, is from the restaurant. So on the weekends, we get super slammed, but because we don't have space, you know, there's a wait a lot of times. People got to wait for their food, and people don't like to wait.
How long we thinking for the wait?
I mean, it just depends on on the day, how busy we are. But we can get up to a 45-minute wait we have before.
Oh.
But people will wait.
And that's a good problem.
It's a good problem.
It's a good problem.
It's a good problem. And people will come and they will wait. But now we have people catching on more, so they'll like order ahead, because people can do that. Shout out to everybody. Y'all can, just to let you know, y'all can call us and order ahead. That helps, you know. Then we're not trying to hurry up and make your food. And so it does become a little much. We have a system, but like I said, when you work out of a space that's so small, it doesn't matter how tight the system is. You're still not going to be able to kick everything out, all the food out.
Right.
You know, we do the best we can. And then we make a lot of stuff from scratch, too, like I said. So a lot of prep work. So we just need a bigger space.
Oh, okay.
But just so you know, we are in the process of looking for a second location. Finally, we made that decision. Yeah, we have to.
Where can we expect? Like,
we don't know. We're looking for a space now in Las Vegas. We have a realtor, and we're looking for some commercial.
We're leaving
space.
downtown. Maybe
we're gonna have 2 locations. No, we're gonna keep Container Park.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely got to keep that spot. We get a lot of tourists there, so that's you want that tourist money. You want that money. That's good money.
I probably say go ahead.
What was the goal of becoming vegan?
So for me, I just never liked meat. Like, it wasn't for me a thing where I was like, oh, I want to be vegan because I want to save the animals, and that was kind of a part of it after a while. But for the most part, I was just like, because I have a whole different perception about animals and the relationship to people and how the universe just works and everything works perfectly, and you know, so I have my own things about that. However,
can we get a couple of those?
We can get into that, but I will tell you, let me answer her questions first. So I did have eczema, though, which was a skin disorder. A lot of people have psoriasis, eczema, dry skin, and it was really bad, like super bad. I had it on my face, arms, legs. You can't tell now because I don't have it anymore, but I basically cured myself and changed my diet. And then, like I said, I never liked meat. And then when I was in Atlanta, I ran into some friends who were vegan, and they were just showing me different meals, you know, and foods that you can make that were vegan. I had no idea you could eat pizza or macaroni and cheese. And this was years ago, and they were killing the game. It was a restaurant, actually, that they took me to. It was called Soul Vegetarian. And
in Atlanta?
In Atlanta.
Okay.
They have 2 locations still, and the food was so phenomenal. And I was like, if I could eat like this, you know, or cook like this. So I just learned how to, you know, slowly but surely just learn how to cook. And that's really what caused me to become vegan. And then I saw a lot of people that were suffering from diseases and illnesses. And then I started doing some studying. I'm like, oh, you can heal your body through this. Or, you know, exactly. And so that was basically me. But like I said, I don't like meat just as I never did, even when I was little. So it was easy for me. I was like, oh, I can finally eat something and not be grossed out, you know, like that kind of thing. So
you're grossed out about eating chicken? Oh, let me tell you. I used to mess up
tastes the worst to me out of all the
meat. I used to eat it. That's the thing. But it was never something that I was like, ooh, I got to have this piece of chicken. You know, like it was always like, okay, well, that's what we're having. But
how can you guys not like chicken?
Some people just don't like flesh.
A little weird.
This tastes like fleshy to me. Even now, like the whole meat. Yeah.
Those veins.
That's the thing.
No. And see, that's the part that used to freak me out. Like if I would eat it and there was like a little red vein. You know how they run. Well, that used to. I would.
You getting chills over here?
I would. It would gross
so
me out.
Stringy, bouncy, like
it would
no,
gross me out.
It's not okay.
And pork, forget about it. The smell alone would just drive me crazy. So I was built to be a vegetarian. Yeah. Okay. For sure. For sure.
So
your family seen that coming.
Yeah, they kind of did. And then my mom actually sent me when I was in elementary school. Hold on one second. Let me answer. Finish answering her question. My mom sent me to a elementary school in Detroit that served all vegetarian lunches. It was like a West African
based. Wow. I never heard of that.
And they serve it. So I've been really exposed to this diet since I was like 5. So it was, and my mother was kind of all over the place. So she wasn't vegetarian, but one day for dinner we might have a vegetable stir fry with tofu. The next day we'd have pork chops, but it would be healthy still. She would cook it, or we would have
like
some
variety.
Exactly, but it would be healthy stuff. So I kind of grew up in that environment too. Not a lot of fast food, you know. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Because my brother is like the same as me. We're similar in that he eats. He's not vegetarian. He does eat some fish and shrimp and stuff like that, seafood. But for the most part, he's very conscious about what he eats too.
Excellent. So speaking of having your restaurant, a lot of people aren't able to pay for the types of the expenses, I should say, that it is to be a vegan, you know, because I heard it is pretty expensive
to like live that lifestyle.
Yes. So like, what kind of suggestions or tips would you have for somebody that is trying to, change up their eating habits but don't have the money to do certain types of clean eating, I should say.
Gotcha.
But we're going to ask that question right after we hear a word from our sponsors.
Got it.
Yo, okay, we back, and we was asking Chef Stacey. Appreciate you again. So,
we need the tips.
For sure. So we were asking, what type of tips would you have for people that didn't have as much money to live or eat healthily as they would like to?
Okay. So the first thing people have to understand is that when you're eating healthy food or vegan food, you cannot compare it to the $1 menu at McDonald's.
Exactly.
And I think people do that. They're like, oh, but I can eat over here. I can eat for $1.50
and it is
or $2.
Cheaper, though.
And it is cheaper.
It's cheaper.
But you're not going real food. I don't care if it's vegetarian or not. You're not going to get it for that price. So people have to get it out of their heads that you can't compare vegetarian food with the $1 menu, because a lot of people do that. Because it's not
quality's there.
Yeah, because the $1 menu is not food.
It's not food.
It's a filler.
What they compare it to is like buying a box of Hot Pockets versus buying a bunch of vegetables that you have to cook and chop up and prepare and all of that
And
stuff.
I was going to say, so the second thing, let me just say this. So if you're eating at home, in order to keep it economical, first of all, beans and rice is a complete protein, and it's one of the cheapest things that you can have. And you can put any kind of, vegetarian meat or whatever, tofu or whatever you want to put with it. But beans and rice, greens, cornbread, like, those things are not expensive. Because honestly, when you're buying steak and chicken, like that, steak and chicken is expensive.
Yeah.
It can add up
So it can add up pretty quickly. So we're really not talking about eating at home versus more so eating out. Because eating at home, if you're making vegan food or vegetarian plant-based food at home versus making meat at home, then you're definitely going to save money, because meat is just more expensive. However, if you go out to eat, a lot of times the food is more expensive. I know for us, I have to price according to how long it takes as well to make this stuff, because we're not opening things from a package. We're not, so I have to factor in not only the food cost, but how long it's going to take to make it. And then I got to pay rent, and I got to pay, we're like in Container Park. That's a hot spot.
Yes.
So, the rent ain't like cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
So my thing is, it also depends on what side of town you go to get your vegan food, because there are some places that you can probably get stuff a little cheaper. But for the most part, if you want to do something economical, I'd say, then you can come to the restaurant. Like, not everything on our menu, and our menu is not expensive. Like, honestly, to me, it's not.
What's like the price range?
$5.95, I think, is the lowest. The lowest item that we have, and then it goes up to, I think the most expensive item that we have is $17.95. That's the ultimate sampler where it feeds 2 people. But the nachos are $12, but if you get the nachos, and it's a big plate of nachos for $12. Nice. And if you added nacho cheese, it's $1 extra. It might come up to $14 with. So it's not.
Oh, so you saying
super expensive?
It ain't like can go out and take their girl $25. They can take
their $25. They all good. Yeah,
oh, okay.
The lasagna is like $10.95 or $11.95 or something like that. It's a big piece, so it's not like you're breaking the bank. But I would just encourage people anyway to eat more at home, just because. So you're going to save money, period.
Anyways,
and it's just better because you know what's going in your food, and you want to get into the habit of making your own stuff. You don't want to be relying on going out every single time, because going out, period, is going to break the bank. And we're not talking about, again, we leaving out the McDonald's and the,
you cannot compete with
we're
those
not comparing
that.
That ain't,
value fries.
Exactly. And then if you want to go out, like there's some other alternatives. Like I go to Chipotle every now and then. They have the sofritas, which is like the tofu, stuff they have, and it's pretty good. Like if I'm in a rush, then I'll usually go there. But there's other little places. I go to a lot of Thai. I eat a lot of Thai because Thai tends to have a lot of vegetarian options. A lot of Ethiopian. See, I eat a lot of ethnic foods. You can't go out to a restaurant and go to a steakhouse and think that you're gonna get some vegetarian food. It's just not. You got to go to where you're gonna get some vegetarian food, and that's mostly. Unfortunately, but fortunately, we have that here in Vegas because we have so many restaurants. You just want to do like the more ethnic foods.
Yeah,
so
that's when you're gonna have more of
Thai,
a selection.
Japanese,
for vegetables,
Ethiopian, and then just try the different cuisines. As a matter of fact, man, Ethiopian. There's an Ethiopian restaurant that's bomb and it's cheap.
Yeah,
I don't like Ethiopian food. I haven't got into it, but I'm really picky. I did the vegan thing, right? And I was following a lot of what Dr. Sebi says.
Okay, yeah.
And that made me obsess so much over what
food.
To choose.
And he says like no garlic, no onion.
Yeah, he's very strict. And we were having a conversation. You were saying that you started to eat fish again, and that you don't want people to be so bogged down on, like, I guess, a strict type of diet.
Exactly, because people have to understand that your body is energy and food is energy, and so however you are towards the food, like if you have say for example you're eating a meal but it doesn't have onion and garlic in it, which I love onion and garlic, so I love Dr. Sebi, rest in peace, but I don't agree with everything
he says,
because I think that again it comes to your relationship with the food. So if you have something and it has garlic and onion in it, and then you feel bad about eating it, then when you digest it, but you eat it anyway, but you digest, it's not going to digest properly. Exactly.
I heard garlic was pretty good for you anyway.
Well, I think it is. It's done me wonders, but Dr. Sebi says it is not. I mean, everybody has their opinions.
Their own research that they found to be true.
Yeah, and so it can be overwhelming for people.
It can be very overwhelming. And I was obsessing over food like crazy.
And it doesn't.
But I'm over it now.
I'm over it.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna end up just eating zucchini and watermelon if I listen to this man.
She said zucchini and watermelon.
And that's it.
I heard the cucumbers are pretty good as well.
Cucumbers are good. Everything, like, that's the thing. If to me, if God made it, and it's kind of like how we are with marijuana. People are like, "Oh, marijuana's bad." Marijuana is fantastic.
Fantastic.
It is. It's like it has healing properties. It has, so everybody has their different things as to why they don't want to eat. They don't think,
Right.
That's just how, and it just makes the world more interesting. And I just take it at that. I'm like, Dr. Sebi has his opinions. Everybody else has their opinions. But I'm gonna go with this because this is what makes me feel good. This is what makes me happy. This is what I'm gonna put out into the universe and into the world. And so I can be happy and satisfied with what I'm eating so that I can, just be a better person and love on people and not focus on what I'm eating.
Obsessing over it.
Yeah, obsessing over what I'm eating. Yeah.
So we're going to get back to the marijuana because I got a couple questions for you about that cannabis.
A lot of people do, especially from my post today, my personal page.
So I got a question for you.
Okay.
It's Black History Month. And do you have any influential Black history hero or leader that was somewhat,
I don't have
influence on society, or the one that you prefer the most?
So for me, there's so many that I can't, name, and I pull from. I can't name just one. I mean, That's just that's a general question. Okay. So I know it would be like it's just me saying everybody, but there's so many.
She's rooting for everybody black.
I'm rooting for everybody black, Issa. It's a Black History Month.
Everybody black.
We could shout out Oprah. You know,
shout out Oprah. I love Oprah. You know. Oprah. I like Oprah for different reasons. I like I mean, for some reasons, I even like people like Pharrell Williams, who is an artist, but he's like a humanitarian person. Like when you listen to him, he's deep.
Soul for sure.
He's deep, you know, and he understands the spiritual connection to the universe and just letting things flow. And when you listen to him, he's on another level, you know. And so there's really people like that I'm interested in. That really, I guess, inspire me. But there's so many people. There's Abraham Hicks. She's not black. But Abraham Hicks is, I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's changed my life. And it's, you know, she's a...
How so?
The process of life, like the way she thinks, her main thing is you just need to feel good. You know, in everything that you're doing, and everything else will work out. You know, and that's like the main premise.
That's
and
such
then
a
there's
vague thing to tell people.
It is, because people don't understand.
But you don't understand it until it happens for you.
Exactly.
So it's kind
of even
difficult.
Feeling good through the hard times, and not necessarily like not shedding tears or things like that, but just knowing that this is just a contrast. When you're going through a hard time, you don't know what you want until you know what you don't want. That makes any sense. Like, I didn't know that I needed a better staff at Simply Pure until my staff started fucking up. Oh, can I cuss?
No.
Oops, sorry.
She got passionate, okay?
until my staff was like jacking up stuff. Then I was like, man, you know, I need a better staff, you know, but it was like during that time.
Jacking up.
Yeah, jacked up my stuff. You know, but it was like little things like that. I didn't know I needed a better business partner until I had a failed business with Everlasting Life, my first business with bad business partners. Okay. Now I have a great business partner. Yes. There's That's awesome. But you stay consistently happy and you just follow the next. People are like, I don't know what to do in life. I don't know. I'm like, what makes you feel good? Then do that, and then follow the next logical step of what makes you feel good. And the next logical step.
You know what? It's hard to figure out in this society that teaches you that you need to make money. Right. So you get confused on what you want to do because you're like, well, it doesn't make money. If it doesn't make money, I don't want to do it.
But my thing is, it will make money if you make it make money. That's the thing. Yeah,
you
most
have to learn how to monetize your craft.
Because most people are like, and I'm not saying quit if you got a day job and you like, you should definitely work part time because you got to feed your kids. You got to, you know, have a roof over your head, but you can still work on that part time.
Feed your kids, not yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Feed the kids. Feed the husband, feed the wives. Yes, you feed yourself too.
Yeah,
Take care of yourself, you know, that kind of thing. Definitely. Be as happy as you can.
So they say, you know, you said, what was her name? Alex Hicks?
Abraham Hicks.
Abraham Hicks.
Yes. That's interesting that's a woman's
name. So you said he wanted everybody to be, she wanted everyone to be happy, excuse me.
Yeah.
So some people, just like, you know, eating your vegetables, well, I spoke about this before, they don't know, like you said, what they want. So you got to almost force them for what's good. Just like the analogy I used was, you got to trick the babies to eat the veggies sometimes and tell them it's an airplane.
Right.
So sometimes you do have to, you know, kind of force feed the good into them. So, you know, you can't really, everyone's good is just different. So if you have to be able to explain that good is what I'm saying with Abraham Hicks, what she was saying.
Explain, like, what do you mean?
Well, she said everyone just live good, but some people don't know what good is or what's best for them.
So let me just, before, because
happiness is what you're saying.
Well, not only that, but like that was just a general. What I was telling you was just general. But you have to listen to, like, she has thousands and thousands of, like, ladies.
Oh yes.
So she has thousands and thousands of videos and hundreds of books. I mean, not sure they hundreds, but she has a lot of books and things like that. So I see what you're saying. It can be challenging to just tell people that. That's why I really was kind of hesitant about making that blanket statement, because a lot of people just don't understand. They're not there yet. However, you can't force it on anybody. It's what it is. Like, my thing is, I don't force vegan. I don't even think everybody should be vegan. And I tell people that all the time. And some people are amazed because they're like, oh, but you own a vegan restaurant. I'm like, but it's not. Vegan and vegetarianism, I don't believe, is for everybody.
And why do you say that?
Because
it's about eating healthy.
Because I don't necessarily. Okay, so let's go back to, like, what they call the quote unquote old days.
The old days.
Because this terminology of being vegan and vegetarian is really kind of a new thing. You know, like what people did was they would eat meat, but they would eat such a small portion of meat. But what's happening now is people are eating these large portions of meat, and they're not eating any vegetables. So I'm not saying, and probably gonna get blasphemy. I'm not saying that eating meat is bad. I think that there are certain things that you probably shouldn't eat, like pork, because it just has worms and stuff like that. Yeah. If you're going to eat meat, really it should be grass fed and free range and all this other stuff. But who's really going to research that? You know. Yeah. Most people are not. So that's why, like, what's happening now is all the things, the chemicals and all the stuff that's being done to the meat, and, like the hormones and stuff. Yeah. So back in the day, our great grandparents used to eat meat, but it would be such a small portion.
Or it would be a luxury item, so you wouldn't eat it all the time.
Or it'd be a luxury item, right? Exactly. It was never meant to be something that people ate like all the time, not in the excess that they're eating it now. And now, because before the mentality was you just eat a little of that, you eat all your grains, everything comes from the ground. That kind of thing. Now the mentality is let's eat a lot of meat and there's like hardly any vegetables. The vegetable is like a potato or corn, and those are really, they're vegetables, but they're not the healthiest. You know, so people are just, they don't know how to eat anymore just because we've kind of moved away from that. But the term vegan is really a new term. That wasn't something that people were really talking about,
because the meat industry, they make money.
They make money, sure. Definitely.
So we had another question for you. You said you didn't want to force veganism on anybody, and that's a great thing. So let's just say, but somebody was just curious about it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got a couple responses of there was I seen the site that had a bunch of different responses that meat eaters would ask.
Okay.
Veganism. So, and I would like to know your response to a couple of them.
Okay.
So one of them is I couldn't be vegan. I wouldn't taste everything.
I couldn't be vegan. I what?
I want to taste everything.
I want to taste everything. What do you mean, like taste meat?
Yeah. If I were to tell you that I couldn't be vegan, I want to taste everything. Like what would be your response?
I don't understand
What's
the question.
everything? What else? What are they?
What's everything? Everything on the food plate.
They want to taste like meat and all that stuff.
What would you say to that?
I would say okay.
Okay.
Like, I mean, what you want me to do?
She said she wants to go force it, so okay, that was the test.
That's my thing. Like when people come into the restaurant, the goal is not to make them turn vegan, and that's not the goal. The goal is to expose people to healthy alternatives so they can know that vegan food can taste good, and there's another option. There's another way of eating.
I think that question, they was basically saying, like, when people think vegan, they think all the food has no seasoning.
Oh, it doesn't have any flavor.
Nothing but plants, and you know what I'm saying.
They get
so
scared.
that's
like bland.
That's what that question I feel.
Gotcha.
So I want to taste everything. So it's like being vegan, I don't taste nothing.
I just need that person to learn how to ask a question.
I'm a little confused, but we got through it. Hopefully, we answered it.
Oh, okay. So there's one more. It says if they were to say if we were to stop eating animals, and everyone stopped eating animals, and we were overpopulated by the animals, what would you believe the procedure or what should be done to make sure that we don't get overran?
I have no idea. Like I don't. This is my thing. Like seriously, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't think about those kinds of things.
Oh no, but if everybody just stopped eating animals.
But that's not gonna happen. So why would I even? You know what I'm saying? Like if it was something that was gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen. So why would I waste my time trying to figure that out?
Idea.
Yeah, I'm cool on that. So I don't know. Tell them I don't know. They have to ask somebody that's deep into that. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
So what were you smoking when you wrote those questions?
Did you hang out with Mary? Mary might have asked that question too.
But I think. But I will say this to that. I think that God makes no mistakes. I think that the universe is in perfect. I know that the universe is in perfect balance. The world is not on the brink of destruction like most people think with the ozone and stuff.
Oh no.
No.
Well, so you just
because this is the thing, we as a collective entity have not had enough. What should I say? We have not gathered enough energy together to create another universe, if that makes any sense. God is in control of this. It's not like me, you, we can all get together and create some stars and some moons.
Right.
So what makes us think that we really can destroy this beautiful thing that God has created? So that's my thing. Like, everybody's like, oh, you're destroying this, you're destroying that, but that means they don't believe in a higher power. They just really believe in like what people are doing. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be attention should not be paid to the ozone layer and those issues.
Correct.
And you should do what you can, because that's why you're here, because everything is in accordance. So there are some people that are going to be born on this earth, and they're going to, their main thing is going to be, hey, I want to save the earth.
Yeah.
Then that's what you're here for, so that you can keep this thing in balance. That's why it's so important for people to really do the thing that they love.
Right.
Because if you don't, because if you don't, then you will not fulfill your purpose. Everybody's here for a reason, specifically. You just got to figure that out. But the only way you figure it out is if you make sure that you feel good every step of the way. You're not working out of fear, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm getting too deep on you.
A lot of sense.
But anyway, I'm saying it to say that. So the animals and all that stuff, and it being too much, it's all in balance. It really is. We ain't got to worry about that.
I like what you said about eating when he's asking you questions about being vegan and the animals and all of that. You put it really simply. You said another alternative way to eat.
Right. That's all it is. That's all we're offering is a way to eat. When you come in, I'm not telling you to not eat your pork or your beef, but I am saying that if you feel like you don't have an option, then you can come here and still eat good without compromising the taste.
Yeah.
You know, you can eat good and still be like, oh, this tastes good, and I had my meatless meal for the week or for, whatever.
So,
how was it being vegan and pregnant? Because I haven't met a woman that went through a pregnancy and she was vegan throughout.
So I wasn't vegan throughout, because that's when I started eating some fish, right around my second trimester.
Okay.
However, for sake of the conversation, I was pretty much vegan.
I
didn't eat chicken, I didn't eat fish. I ate fish. I didn't eat pork. I didn't eat and I ate mostly plants, of course. It was amazing. I had an amazing pregnancy, but I don't know if that was because of my diet or just because I would attribute it a lot to the diet. I never had morning sickness.
That's awesome.
I craved watermelon and salmon, which was weird, but I gave myself what I liked. What I asked for, and so I did a lot of smoothies, and like my son is amazing. Like, he's super smart, and I'm not saying that because he's my child. Like, I got I got children. I'm like, ooh.
What were the doctors telling you though? I'm interested to know if the doctors were telling you.
My doctor was actually really cool. She's a midwife. I had a midwife.
Okay.
And she delivers out of hospitals, and she's African American woman. Angela DeTai, shout out to her. And so she was very supportive. They weren't, they
weren't telling you to eat hamburgers.
No.
Get your iron up.
Because my levels were all good. It wasn't like there wasn't anything wrong with me. When I would go in and get my blood work done and stuff, it wasn't like there was something wrong with me. So why would they tell me to change anything?
Okay.
So, and I had been doing this for so long. I think you can kind of tell from a person's persona, because I don't.
Like, you're not going to talk me out of this.
I'm not going to look at that. So, I don't even know if that really even came up, like my diet and stuff. I mean, it may have, but I think just based on the conversation, and she knew I had a vegan restaurant, she was just kind of like, cool.
I find it hard to gain weight when I'm eating like a strict vegan diet.
Yeah.
So how was that for the pregnancy? Because I want you to gain weight when you're pregnant.
I gained 43 pounds.
Oh, did you?
But I was eating all the right stuff. Like I said, I was listening to my body. So I was eating, stuff that I wanted to eat and stuff that the baby needed.
Right.
Yeah, and so I gained some weight. That was a good weight too, man.
That was a good weight
not the 43 pounds, but when I was like the 10 pounds extra, I was like, man, it was great legs and breasts and man, then it went away real quick. Like 3 weeks after I had him, and I was back down to slenderness again. I'm a slim build though, like that. I've always been like this. Even when I wasn't vegan, I was small. So
see, I be feeling like I'm like out the loop sometimes. Like veganism is a club and you can't get in, or it's a frat or sorority.
It can be.
I'll be like,
it's not like that. No, it's just. I mean, it's funny you should say that, because there are like cliquish
It's like a subculture.
There's some cliques.
Yeah.
There's some vegan cliques in Vegas though.
So is there any like? Are there any like different social?
She said they're mean.
Yeah, I don't really.
They got like different social like habits or the way they socialize. Like they got handshakes or what? Is there anything different?
They walk a certain way.
But you know, like okay, so there's a group on Facebook called the Vegans of Las Vegas Vegans. Okay. Las Vegas Vegans, and my friend
Are they mean?
owns a. No comment, because they do rate, you know, like they'll go in there and talk about restaurants and stuff. Fortunately, we've never had bad reviews. Like every time someone mentions us, it's always good. But they have ripped a new one in some of the other for real in some of the other
vegan restaurants.
Yeah, and like they tend to be a little judgmental sometimes, you know. But I find it's mostly the new vegans. It's the ones that just started.
That just got the knowledge and they're like, you guys are still
It's mostly the new ones. Like the vets like me, we don't trip about that kind of stuff. But the new vegans, man, like I would say, like for example, I have a good friend named Shane Stewart, and he was vegan and then he started eating meat again. But because he was a public figure in Las Vegas in the vegan community, he wanted to come out on Facebook and whatever. Like coming out party, like I'm not vegan anymore. You know, he started eating meat, right? So he did this whole post, and man, them people, they were so mad at him. They threatened his life, threatened his unborn child's life. His girlfriend was pregnant at the time. It was like, I hope your baby dies. It was
what?
Because I'm not. What about all the rest of the people?
Because
that
they
eat
started
meat? Y'all want me to die?
Because they started eating. He started eating meat. You tricked the community into thinking, and it wasn't that.
Why did they care? Like, let me eat my hamburger or whatever it is that I'm eating.
That's why I said it's mostly the new vegans.
Oh,
I like to tease people. I do, but I'm not vicious.
Not like that. No, that was unacceptable.
Hey, so
and it was only one person.
You're telling me that they're using their veganism as a weapon.
Exactly. It's just it's silly.
That's
really, it's silly, and I don't really have time for it, so I don't, hang out in those.
But what page is that? It sounds.
What page is that? Let me go ahead and
let me slide in those comments and read.
That was in the Las Vegas Vegans, girl. It was about 350, 400 comments on that thing. It was so ridiculous. It went on for days. Oh man, it was juicy. It was, but man, it was hardcore. Yeah, so I just got to see that side of the vegan community here in Vegas. However, that's not everybody. Like I said, there was a lot of people that were like, no, so very supportive of him, and not everybody's like that. It's really just a handful that come out of the woodworks every now and then, and I'm just like,
So would there be an uprising if you were to change your diet and stop being vegan? Just internet shut down. What's going on?
So there might be some people upset that I eat fish, honestly, but I don't really care. I don't care. Yeah. Like I really don't care. I'm not.
I really don't care.
You know what I mean?
Just to let you guys know.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, just like I'm not saying I really don't care, but it's just.
Yeah, the hand.
I don't know what to say. Like I'm happy. I'm comfortable with me, and I know what it is and who I am, and so I'm not trying to be anything else. And so if people judge, they judge.
Yeah.
They don't. But for the most part, people don't judge.
Okay.
They're like, whatever.
That's cool.
Yo, we right back. So we started jumping into.
We started jumping in all kind of stuff, right?
So we was talking about the type of how would I categorize this?
The vegan,
the social networks that help you out. I guess would that be?
Yeah.
And the term Yelp came up. So you said that was pretty beneficial, or what?
Yelp has been very beneficial for us. Yelp, we have a 4.5 rating out of 5, and
nice.
we do not pay Yelp. Just for the record, you all hear, because some people pay Yelp
to
get those
for
ratings.
Sure.
I don't pay Yelp just because in the beginning I couldn't afford to pay Yelp.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. So I was like, I can't afford to pay
like
y'all.
monthly?
And then after we started getting good ratings, I didn't really need to pay them. So
you got
it's
good
expensive.
ratings.
Yeah, so we have pretty good ratings. It's not, Yelp is just interesting, and I don't want to dwell on that too long, but it's just interesting because anybody can write anything, and people unfortunately fall privy to other people's opinions. But we get mostly great reviews. The biggest complaint I think that we get is that we are too small.
And that's another good problem. So
another good problem.
And in the wait for the food, sometimes if someone comes on a busy day, they'll be like, "Oh, I had to wait, 20 minutes, 25 minutes." I'm like,
but was the food good?
But they always say the food is good. Sometimes somebody be like, "Oh, I didn't like this, or I didn't like that." But again, I respond to every Yelp review. I do.
Oh, really?
That's
every
a really
single
good
one.
practice.
And the reason why I do that is because Yelp is one of the biggest ways that people find us. And so I felt it important to hone in on that. Like, people find us on Google and stuff too, but Google people tend to be a little bit nicer. So our Google, we have 5-star reviews on Google. I mean, I think we have 5 stars.
So Yelp is the hood. Google
Yelp is the hood.
Google's the university.
Right, exactly. So not without getting into that, that's just for anybody that's opening up a business or has a business. You know, the best thing to do is just to build your business and not try to pay Yelp to give you good ratings. Because after a while, people are going to see through that. So you really got to be transparent when you're on like social media and just any kind of platform like that. And so that's why I tell people all the time, like, don't pay Yelp. Just focus on making your business the best. And then people will come in and authentically give you those reviews and those accolades and stuff.
Oh, yeah. We like that. You just be authentic.
Yeah, be authentic. That's what it's about nowadays. Yeah.
And that tells me about, you got to be real, too. And being real.
Same thing.
Yeah. So, and being real, we really got to ask you this question. What kind of differences did you feel in your body when you started changing your diet? Did you sleep longer? Were you able to, be, are you in the gym? You running further or anything like that?
It's hard to say because I changed my diet so long ago.
Yeah?
I changed my diet 17 years ago.
So, okay.
So I don't really remember everything, but I will say that I had eczema and that cleared up.
Right.
And
did you notice a change in your menses?
Yes. It's not. It wasn't as heavy and it wasn't as long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. I noticed the same thing. It wasn't as heavy. It wasn't as long. I didn't have a lot of cramping. I didn't have a lot of symptoms.
I don't have any symptoms, actually.
Okay.
And I used to. So that definitely, for women who want to like have cramps and all that stuff, you need to do a good body detox and then stay on a mostly plant-based diet, and that will all clear up. All the cysts and stuff, the women that have fibroids, all that will clear up with plant-based and making sure that we were going to talk about this too. I guess we'll bring it in now. Making sure that your diet is mostly alkaline as well. Because we were talking about that. Because this is the thing. You can be vegan. Let's be real clear. But you could be a starchitarian and eat all the pastas and the breads and the rice and that's not being vegetarian. You can drink soda. You can eat French fries. You can eat pizza with no cheese or whatever you gonna call yourself vegan, but it's still a bunch of starch and processed stuff. Right. So really, you got to be like a healthy vegan. I know some vegans that are unhealthy.
Chunky.
So,
I know some
quick question about the alkalinity. Alkaline is the opposite of acidic, and they say if you drink too much alkaline water, you'll kind of dilute the acid in your body, and you won't be able to fight off those things in your body.
I've heard that.
Well. You have heard that?
Yeah, but I get alkaline water delivered to my house.
You drink it all the time?
Well, I drink it when I'm at home, and then like if I'm out, I may buy the water I have in my car is Nestle. And like I said, I don't think too much into stuff. Like I like the way alkaline water really tastes.
Yeah.
It's so clean, like clear, and,
so
and like the other water has Arrowhead has a taste to me. After,
I like Arrowhead. People don't like it.
It doesn't matter. Water's water. I'm just trying to drink it, and keep it pushing. I don't know about that necessarily with the alkalinity and the acid. I haven't really looked into that. There may be some truth to that. But so far, I'm good.
No,
so.
Excellent.
I digest where that study was.
It was a professor that
and he said that if you have too much,
he was teaching like natures and ended up stopped teaching, and then went on like a bunch of different hikes and like all around the world.
He said if you drink too much alkaline water.
Yeah, like your pH balances.
So the acidity.
That's so odd. I just feel like the body works so well.
It does, and I feel like that too. Like it will adjust. That's the thing. It will adjust.
Probably, we're evolving creatures, so
exactly.
Like
that's why people really trip me out with all of these different conspiracies and stuff. I'm like, y'all gonna wear yourselves out. Y'all gonna kill yourselves just thinking about the conspiracy. Just live.
So are they?
Did you watch What the Hell?
I did.
Okay. And I like how they put emphasis on just creating doubt is what makes people eat a certain way or keep eating a certain way or believe things like the acidity and alkalinity and all that. Just creating doubt. I thought that was a really dope thing to highlight in that documentary.
They call that population control around my parts. But there was you speaking about the concerns or the I don't want to say myths. What was the word we just used?
Conspiracies.
Yes.
Yes.
The conspiracies about it. So it led me to the conspiracies about marijuana. I wanted to jump back into. So what are kind of
conspiracies?
Boy, man, my knees and my arms be kicking me. What kind of conspiracies have you heard about? Or do people usually have about marijuana?
I mean, you know what they are. That marijuana is bad. That it's going, it's for druggies, it's for stoners.
It's a gateway drug.
I don't be hearing
That's
that.
Yeah. It's a gateway drug. People say that.
Oh, gateway drugs or other drugs?
Yeah.
Who says
funny,
that?
I've never done any of
Me either. It's too
except
scary.
except I've done some I've done ayahuasca. Have y'all heard of that?
That's the thing that you drink, right?
And then I've done that. But that's like on a whole nother level. That's
right,
not something
that's
that you do
different.
every day. Yeah, it's really different. But I don't do mushrooms and I haven't done any of that stuff. Crack, cocaine. I don't do none of that.
Yeah, for sure.
But marijuana is there's you said you don't hear what the things are, but there's a lot of people that are super conservative still, and they just don't think that marijuana is good, and they think that people who smoke it are stoned. And so really one of the main reasons why I am so outspoken about my cannabis consumption is that I want to dispel that myth, because I'm the opposite. I'm not lazy. I got a business. I'm happy. I'm successful. I got to and I'm healthy. And I consume cannabis just about every day, and it has only enhanced everything that I've been doing. And it's not like I'm all day, every day smoking, and but it's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit in the morning, and I'm never stoned. Like I'm never.
So why you smoke?
Late. Well, stoned. When I say stoned, I mean like when I say stoned, I mean like when I can't. I don't do that. I am very functional with my marijuana, with my consumption, right? And it makes me like I'm super creative, and same everything. Here. So it just heightens more so than I never am like smoking or chilling unless I'm actually super tired and I'm sitting on the couch just watching TV. Every now and then it might. That's usually if I'm already chilling.
So what direction do you see cannabis taking into the country? I just seen that Vermont was going to be probably the next state that goes legal with marijuana.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a weed dish at Simpley.
I know. We're going to talk about that.
I was going to bring that up too.
So it was funny because I have a really good friend, Krista Whitley. Shout out to her. She's heavy in the cannabis industry here. As a matter of fact, she's a part of, she's actually president, I think, of the Women Grow chapter here in Las Vegas, and then she just does different community events every month. Actually, you can go to her events.
Nice.
Her name is Krista Whitley, and it's Social Media Unicorn.
Social Media Unicorn. That's her name on IG.
But she did this, Krista Whitley, I think is her name on IG. I'm not sure. Anyway, if you look at my friends, it's Krista Whitley, and she actually created a box called the Weekend Box. And it basically was a bunch of cannabis items from different companies, and then she included Simply Pure. We did a munchie coupon, so you buy one entree, get one free, and you get the whole box of all different. You got edibles, you got flour, you got oil, you have patches. There was all kinds of stuff in there. It was really cool. And then you just you get all of those products at like a discounted rate. So instead of paying $250 or $300 for all of those products separately, you would pay $250 for the box. And you just get. So she created that, which was super creative, and so she included us in that. And she was also including us in other events, like we were catering, but we never really got into the infused portion yet. Okay. So we are working on that. So, there's steps to when you're evolving a business, and we just happen to be at the right places at the right time with it being recreational and, medical in Nevada. So we're like, all over it. But at the same time, I have so many other things, like I have the restaurant, we got to open up another location. I have a child, and I still we have catering. There's a lot of moving parts. And so, and I'm not the type of entrepreneur that jumps into a bunch of different things at one time, because I feel like you need to focus. Yeah. And so right now, that's not the focus. However, it's always like at the back of my neck. Like, come on. So it's so close, cool. And I really am open. I have had a couple of people approach me, and they're like, hey, we'd like to invest whenever you're ready. So we want to do a line of infused vegan products. So you should be seeing that
I would like to see like a vegan, like not a vegan, but like some kind of like tea or something hot.
They have a tea and a coffee.
Like that.
Yeah,
I gotta find it. I heard they got a coffee.
At
I didn't
Relief,
see a tea.
right there. I haven't had it, but it's at Relief.
Tea.
Yep, tea and coffee they sell there.
That's
Relief is owned by Ed Bernstein. You know Ed Bernstein?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he owns Relief.
That's dope.
Yeah, and he keeps it pretty stocked in there. So. Yeah, I don't go there that often. That's not like the location I go to is Canopy.
So we gotta wait on a Simply Pure.
Gotta wait on the Simply Pure.
Stacey.
Yeah, but I'm just so you know, I have been trying out products in the market. I've been the tester just to see, because with those things too, you have to get a scientist. You need to know your THC, your mycopene levels, your CABD level. You have to know all of that when they're going into the product. So it's not something you can just make and put out on the shelf. If you're going to do it properly. Process. According to how, without going to jail type thing or doing it under the table, there you got to put some money.
Would there be any like exotic cannabis meals that a lot of people are familiar with?
I may do maybe I'll do a pop-up. I was thinking about doing a pop-up and doing some infused things at the pop-up dinner or something. But like I said, there's so many ideas. There's so many things we can do. I just don't want to jump into too many things at one time.
Focus on a second location.
Yeah, second location, my child. Of course.
You ain't got I know you got a dish that you was already thinking about with the cannabis.
No, I actually was thinking about infusing well, I don't want to say right now.
Oh yeah.
We weren't going to do the dish. We weren't going to do a dish. We were going to do some ingredients that go into the dish, like spices and oils and stuff like that. But I won't say exactly what. Yeah, because when you cook with it, it's just. And then there's a longer shelf life. I'm not trying to, infuse the lasagna, but the lasagna only stays on the shelf for a week. I need something that's going to stay on the shelf for months.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right, I appreciate you for real, because those gems real. Those gems are real. We're going to be right back. Because we got Miss Chef Stacey came in and she's dropping a million gems. We got a few more questions for you before we wrap it up. Excuse me. So first off, did you have any questions for us?
No, not in particular. I mean, if you all, I think we're just conversing. We're just having conversations.
Yes, so, most definitely.
If I have a question that comes up that's like I just asked you your age, I wanted to know that.
Yeah.
Off camera.
Right. I know that you all, we just talked about cannabis. I know you all.
We all
dabble. Yes, we'll dabble a little bit. I came with bearing gifts as I usually do.
Oh, love. See,
thanks for the
my barber always hook up certain people and not go see. So
major love.
Yeah, I like to spread the love. I want people to feel the joy that I feel. I'm like,
awesome.
We call that a winner. We call that a winner. So you got anybody you want to shout out or anything like that?
My son, my mom.
Love.
Yeah, I did want to ask you about your podcast, Raising a Vegan Baby.
Yes. So I have a 3-year-old son. His name is Zion. He just turned 3. He's amazing, but everybody says it about their kids, but he really is. He's great. And he is vegan. So he is, he's been vegan. He has never had chicken, I think my mom has given him fish before, which is, I don't trip about that. But,
how's he growing?
He doesn't really like fish.
He's growing pretty, he's still.
Yeah, he's big.
Taller than all the other kids and stuff.
He's tall, he's healthy, he's kind of muscular, but so am I, and so is his dad. So.
Is it tough to make sure he eats? He's 3 years old. Is he
that's
picky?
A good question. He is not as picky as most 3-year-olds are. He eats vegetables, but this is the thing we were talking about forcing. I don't force vegetables on him, and I never have. What I did was, first of all, I eat vegetables. So children are only a mirror, usually, of their parents.
Okay.
So you can't be a parent who's not eating vegetables, and then you're telling your kid to eat vegetables, or you're cooking vegetables just because you got to eat them, but you don't really want to, and you just expect your child to want to. That's not gonna happen. So that's why it's really important to find something that you like and cook it, and figure that out, because your children can see right through that. So with him, I just started him on like spinach and pureed spinach and sweet potatoes and stuff like that. But I started getting him involved like in the morning time when he was about 1.5 years, 2 years. He was making fresh pressed juice. So now he'll make fresh pressed juice. Like he'll ask for it. So because
what do you mean he makes it?
Like I would have him
in the kitchen to see.
I would have him stand on. I would have him stand. I'd be there with him, of course. I'd have him stand on a stool, And I would get the juicer out, and I would give him the vegetables and tell him to name each one, and he would put it in a thing and push it down.
That's such a cute bonding moment.
Exactly. And then kids will. I find that when parents make it so that, and then I have a video actually. I haven't posted it yet. I have a video. I have 2 videos. There's one when he was about a year ago. I posted. We were in the kitchen making fresh juice, and then I just did another one. The other day we made a strawberry banana smoothie. I don't understand
where all this time comes from.
You gotta feed your kids, so it's
in the morning do all of this.
I do all of that. That's what my brother said. My brother's like, I don't understand
how you wear everything. So many hats, huh?
I'm so wise with my time, because that's the thing. People have time, but people waste time.
Okay.
On Instagram, on Facebook, looking at
popping.
It's popping, but you can't spend an hour scrolling through
looking
stuff,
at everything,
because then that's time I could have spent with my son. So people do ask me. So I mean, I guess there's certain ways, because y'all had to tell me that Instagram you can be on there for an hour. Now I ain't know that, but that's because I'm not. I ain't on there because that's not making me
right.
I
missed out on technology too, so don't feel bad.
That's why I'm like, but you just have to with him. So I was saying,
with your son,
I get involved. So I tell all parents, if you want your children to eat healthy, you have to get involved. Let them get involved with the food making process, because they want to help. So just give them like little things to do so they can feel proud about what they made, so they'll eat it.
So that's what your podcast is about. Is about
no, my podcast is just about everything: entrepreneurship, children. One of the episodes was raising a vegan baby.
Oh, excuse me. I thought that was the podcast.
No. The podcast is about being an entrepreneur. It's about business and relationships. It's about all kinds of things. But one of the episodes, you gotta listen to that.
Yeah, where can we find you?
SimplyPutRadio.com.
Okay.
So go to www.simplyputradio.com, and
what days
all
you
the
air?
days are there. We air every Tuesday.
Nice.
And you can listen there. We don't have it on iTunes, and we're looking to get it on iTunes and SoundCloud, but we haven't done that yet because we want to get the sound quality together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to get the sound. The sound isn't quite good just yet, so we're like working on what microphones we're going to use, that kind of thing. We shoot it at the restaurant usually in the evening, so we're trying to get the acoustics.
People can come in the background.
No, we close. We do it after hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a really unique approach, though. What you said, you let your kid get involved in the food making process. So it's like, I made this, I'm gonna eat it.
Exactly. And then and then not forcing the kids. So that's another thing. I don't force Zion to eat his vegetables. He just eats them because he likes them, and he doesn't like all vegetables. Like he does not like salad.
Like
salad.
I like salad, but I make bomb salad. Like, it don't be no regular salad.
Yeah,
it be like all kind of stuff going on up in there. But he don't want no parts of it. But he likes broccoli. He likes carrots. He likes green beans. He likes Brussels sprouts. He likes certain things.
Yeah, his taste buds will get a little older.
Yeah, it'd be a temperature thing, and then the way you prepare it, exactly, and then the way you prepare it, like he likes soups. So like if you make a vegetable soup or a chili and you put vegetable, your children are probably gonna eat it because it's hidden. They can't really. It's not just a carrot. It's not just a. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put it in something.
A little tips, huh? Okay,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Put it in a soup. Put it in a stew. Put it in some curry. Something.
Yeah.
And then you can put it in the blender. If put some apples, some bananas, or strawberries, or whatever, and then throw a little spinach in there. Spinach has no taste, so they won't even know. You throw that in there, and you just kind of hiding it. Yeah. You could do that, but I would not force a kid to sit there and keep parents have.
You ain't going to your room until you finish
that
plate.
That's how I used to be. I had to eat all my peas.
Well, that's how. Well, my parents weren't like that. That's why I'm
you gotta just spread it around, make it look like you ate.
that don't count either.
Or put it up under in the napkin up under your leg or something. I used to do all the tricks too.
Oh man, them tricks didn't work. I ran out of them for sure. I had to eat them peas until.
See, you still traumatized. See, that's why you can't do that to kids.
Yeah,
exactly. Then they don't want vegetables at all.
Right. That's why I'm stuck on cookies every day.
That is too funny.
Oh. Yeah. Was there anybody else that you wanted to shout out or anything like that?
Besides my son and my mom and my staff at Simply Pure and my business partner, and I mean there's so many people. I don't want to start naming people because then people they listen and they're gonna be like, you ain't shout me out. Just everybody who I love. I love you. All the customers, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So we got any final thoughts today?
Final thoughts. Well, first of all, I have to say I appreciate you all having me.
Oh, love,
thank you
love.
for coming.
And I always love doing interviews like this because I think that a lot of times I stay hidden behind the brand, and I just want people to get a better understanding of like what this veganism quote unquote thing really is, because you all had there's myths about it. There's like you have to eat this way or that way, and I just want people to feel comfortable in eating food and enjoying and exploring and having a good connection, soul connection with your food, and not just eating it just because somebody tells you that it's good, but eating it because you're genuinely interested and you love it and you want your body, So that would be my final thought. Just like follow your path. Don't think about what all the other people are saying. If you feel like you want to eat some fish today, then eat some fish.
Yeah.
If you feel like you want to eat just apples all day, then do that. I live like that, and it's worked.
Love.
Yeah.
Oh, we got any final thoughts today?
I like what she said when she said finding another alternative for food. So like me, when I practiced veganism, I became really obsessed over everything that I ate. But now I'm just becoming a little bit more comfortable, having a little bit more fun with my diet.
Right.
And I just feel like my final thought would be eat what makes sense to you. Eat what makes sense.
Yep. That's really good.
Excellent.
What about you and your final thoughts?
My final thought today. By the way, I had an amazing time.
Me too.
Yeah, so many gems I'm learning. My final thought today is do your research, because I'm learning so much things about being a vegan and being a vegetarian, and there's a lot of the great qualities and great things that can be implemented into your diet that will have lifelong repercussions and positive repercussions into your life. So make sure don't rule anything out. There's a lot of great ideas and great things that happen within veganism and the culture within it. So yeah, go ahead and be open and receptive, because you may even find a gem.
And stay away from those Las Vegas vegans.
Right, you can join the Las Vegas vegans. Most of them are very nice. But if you're going to start eating meat again, you better get off there. You better leave quietly.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, for the new vegans and for the old vegans, the people that just want to come out into our city, make sure you go ahead and show our city some love at OverTheTopLv.com, because if you're looking for the stars behind the bright lights in Las Vegas, you don't got to look no further. We got the painters, the poets, the artists, the community leaders, pretty much anybody that can do anything positive for the community. We want to highlight them and let them know that they are needed. And we was doing it for the culture. Another thing I need you to do for the culture is go ahead and send your music over to TwiceTalkMedia@gmail.com. We have to get your music in. I know you want to get your spins over KUNV 91.5 and the HD2 station. We're about to make some major moves, so go ahead and get it in, because you're going to get noticed real soon, baby. And remember, if everybody in the world thought twice, it'll be a better place. Love, baby.
Oh.